Tae-ho wiped sweat from his face as he crawled through the narrow vent shaft. The air was hot and stale in this forgotten part of the giant spaceship. His toolbox clanked against the metal floor as he moved. "Just fix the air system and get paid," he told himself. Being a human mechanic on an alien ship wasn't easy, but it paid well. The massive imperial ship of the Veridan Empire stretched for miles. Most areas were filled with alien soldiers and servants, but these old maintenance tunnels were empty. Tae-ho liked the quiet. Here, no one looked down on him for being human. He stopped at a junction to check his map. The broken air filter should be just ahead. As he rested, he heard something strange. It was faint, a sound between a cry and a purr. "Hello," Tae-ho called out. Only silence answered. He shook his head. Working alone for too long was making him hear things. He moved forward, but there it was again. A soft, sad sound. Tae-ho put down his tools. The noise wasn't coming from the path ahead, but from a small side tunnel he hadn't noticed before. It wasn't on his map. "This shouldn't be here," he said quietly. The side tunnel was darker, with no lights. Tae-ho turned on his flashlight and crawled in. The tunnel ended at a wall with a small vent near the floor. The sound was louder now. Tae-ho shined his light through the vent and gasped. Beyond the vent was a room. No, a cell. It was small and bare, with only a thin mat on the floor and a water bowl in the corner. On the mat lay a creature Tae-ho had never seen before. It looked like a cat, but bigger, about the size of a large dog. Its fur was blue-gray and matted. The creature was thin, with bones showing under its skin. But what shocked Tae-ho most was its belly, swollen and round. The creature was pregnant. As his light hit the cell, the alien cat turned toward him. Her eyes were large and golden, with a spark of intelligence that made Tae-ho's heart jump. These weren't animal eyes. They held wisdom and pain. The creature made the purr cry sound again and tried to move toward the vent, but seemed too weak. Without thinking, Tae-ho pulled out his multi-tool and began working on the vent cover. It was old and rusted, but after a few minutes of struggle, it came loose. He pushed it aside and squeezed through the opening into the cell. The alien cat watched him carefully but didn't seem afraid. Up close, Tae-ho could see her fur had once been beautiful, with patterns like stars across her back. Now it was dull and tangled. "Who did this to you?" Tae-ho whispered, kneeling beside her. The cell door had no handle on the inside. This wasn't a room. It was a prison. The cat-like creature blinked slowly and placed a paw on Tae-ho's hand. A strange feeling washed over him. Sadness, fear, and relief all mixed together. Somehow, he knew these weren't his feelings. They were hers. "You can share your feelings?" Tae-ho asked in wonder. The creature nodded slightly, her golden eyes never leaving his face. Tae-ho looked around the cell again. A small camera hung in one corner, but it was covered in dust and seemed broken. A feeding tube in the wall probably dropped food automatically. The systems were meant to keep something alive but forgotten. "How long have you been here?" he asked, though he knew she couldn't answer with words. The alien cat made a low sound and placed her paw on his hand again. This time, Tae-ho felt the weight of years of loneliness. He saw flashes of a cruel face, an alien with purple skin and cold eyes who smiled as he locked the door. "The Emperor," Tae-ho whispered, recognizing the face from ship announcements. "Emperor Kuro did this to you." The alien cat pulled back her paw and rested her head on his knee. Her golden eyes seemed to ask a question. Tae-ho knew he should leave. Helping a prisoner of the Emperor was death for sure. But as he looked at her swollen belly and sad eyes, he made his choice. "I'll help you," he promised. "I don't know how yet, but I'll get you out of here." For the first time, the alien cat made a sound almost like a purr of hope. Tae-ho came back the next day with food and water hidden in his tool bag. He had stayed up all night thinking about the alien cat creature. If the Emperor had locked her away, helping her could cost him his life. But he couldn't leave her alone, especially not with babies coming soon. He crawled through the vent again and found her waiting by the opening. Her golden eyes lit up when she saw him. "I'd brought you something," Taiho said, pulling out a water bottle and some meat he had saved from his dinner. The cat-like alien sniffed the food but took it gently from his hands. She ate slowly, as if she hadn't had real food in a long time. While she ate, Taiho looked around the cell more carefully. The room was small, with no windows. The walls were made of thick metal. The only way in seemed to be through a heavy door that was locked from the outside, and the small vent he had opened. "We need to talk somehow," Taiho said. He pulled out a small tablet he used for work. "My name is Taiho," he said, pointing to himself. Then he opened a drawing program on the tablet and drew a simple stick figure. "Taiho," he repeated. The alien watched him with interest. After a moment, she reached out a paw toward the tablet. Taiho handed it to her. She was careful with her claws as she drew another figure, one with pointed ears and a tail. "That's you," Taiho said. "Do you have a name?" The alien made marks on the tablet that looked like writing, but not in any language Taiho knew. Then she made sounds with her mouth. "Nari." "Nari. Your name is Nari?" Taiho asked. She nodded, her ears perking up. For the next hour, they shared simple drawings. Nari was smart and learned quickly. Through pictures, she showed Taiho how she had been a guest on the ship many years ago. She drew the Emperor giving her gifts and food. Then the pictures changed. The Emperor wanted something from her. When she said no, he became angry. The last picture showed Nari locked in the small room, and the Emperor walking away. "He left you here because you said no to him?" Taiho asked, feeling angry. Nari placed her paw on his arm. That strange feeling came again, and Taiho felt her sadness and fear. He also felt something else. Nari was not just any alien. Her people had special gifts. They could heal and feel others' emotions. The Emperor had wanted to use these powers for himself. "How long have you been here?" Taiho asked, drawing a clock and a calendar. Nari drew many circles around a picture of the ship going around a sun. She drew so many that Taiho lost count. "Years," he whispered. "You've been here for years." Nari nodded sadly, then placed her paws on her round belly. "And now you're going to have babies," Taiho said. "Do you know when?" Nari held up her paw with all 5 fingers spread, then closed them and opened just one. 6 days, Taiho guessed. Nari nodded again. Taiho sat back against the wall, thinking hard. He had to get Nari out before the babies came. But how? The ship was huge, with guards everywhere. He was just a mechanic. He needed help. "I have a friend," he told Nari, drawing a new person on the tablet. "Her name is Ji-young. She works in the medical bay. She can help us." Nari's eyes showed worry. "It's okay," Taiho promised. "I trust her, and we need her help for you and your babies." Nari thought for a moment, then slowly nodded. As Taiho got ready to leave, Nari grabbed his hand. She made a sound like a soft song, and Taiho felt warm inside. He somehow knew this was a thank you. "I'll come back tomorrow with Ji-young," he promised. "We'll find a way to get you out of here." As he crawled back through the vent, Taiho knew his life would never be the same. He was now part of something bigger, a rescue that could change everything. Taiho paced back and forth in his small room. He had just finished telling Ji-young about Nari. His friend sat on the edge of his bed, her eyes wide with shock. "Are you sure about this?" Ji-young asked. "If the Emperor finds out, we're both dead." "I know," Taiho said. "But you didn't see her, Ji-young. She's been locked up for years, and she's about to have babies. I can't leave her there." Ji-young ran a hand through her short black hair. She worked as a medical officer on the ship, one of the few humans trusted to treat the alien crew when they got sick. "What kind of alien did you say she was?" she asked. "I don't know," Taiho admitted. She looks like a big cat with blue-gray fur, and she can share her feelings by touch. Jai Young sat up straight. Blue fur, and she can share feelings. She pulled out her tablet and showed Taiho a picture. Does she look like this? The image showed a cat-like alien with the same golden eyes as Nari, but with clean, shiny fur and wearing fancy clothes. Yes, Taiho said. That's her kind. Who are they? They're called Miraki, Jai Young explained. They're famous for their healing powers and ability to feel emotions. Many planets see them as special, almost holy. If the Emperor has been keeping one locked up. She shook her head. That's against every law in the galaxy. Hope filled Taiho's chest. So people would help her if they knew. Definitely, Jai Young said. But we still have to get her off this ship first. She thought for a moment. I need to see her. I can check her health. And the babies too. The next day, Taiho led Jai Young through the maintenance tunnels to Nari's cell. Jai Young gasped when she saw the pregnant alien. Hello, Nari, Jai Young said gently. I'm a friend. May I check you and your babies? Nari looked at Taiho, who nodded. She then allowed Jai Young to examine her with a small medical scanner. She's weak from poor food and no exercise, Jai Young said after a while. But she's strong inside. The babies look healthy too. I think there are 3 of them. Nari purred happily at this news. We need a plan, Taiho said. How do we get her off the ship? Jai Young thought hard. I have an idea. I can create fake medical papers for transporting special equipment. And you're good with machines, Taiho. Could you build a container with air and food that looks like equipment? A hidden pod, Taiho said, nodding. I could make it from spare parts in the repair shop. But how do we get it to a ship going off station? There's a supply ship leaving in 5 days, Jai Young said. I know the loading schedule. If we can get Nari to the cargo bay in your special pod, I can mark it for transport to the medical center on Juno Station. Taiho turned to Nari. Did you understand? We'll build a special box to hide you. Then we'll sneak you onto another ship heading to a safe place. Nari nodded, her golden eyes bright with hope. She touched Taiho's hand, sending feelings of thanks and trust. 5 days, Taiho said. That's cutting it close to when the babies come. It's our best chance, Jai Young replied. I'll get the papers ready and learn more about caring for Miraki babies. Taiho nodded, and I'll start building the pod today. As they prepared to leave, Nari made a soft singing sound. A warm feeling spread through the small cell, touching both humans. It felt like courage and hope mixed together. We'll be back tomorrow, Taiho promised. Stay strong, Nari. Freedom is coming soon. Outside in the tunnel, Jai Young touched Taiho's arm. This is dangerous, but it's the right thing to do. Taiho nodded. Let's get to work. We have a cat to save. Taiho worked late into the night in the repair shop. His hands moved quickly, putting together the escape pod for Nari. It looked like a large equipment box from the outside, but inside he had added soft padding, air holes, and a small water system. It needs to be perfect, he muttered to himself. The box had to keep Nari and her babies safe during transport, but also fool any guards who might look inside. His work tablet beeped. A message from Jai Young appeared. Bad news. Come quickly. Taiho covered the pod with a tarp and hurried to Jai Young's medical office. Her face was tight with worry when he arrived. What's wrong? He asked. 2 things, Jai Young said, keeping her voice low. First, I scanned Nari again today. The babies are coming faster than we thought. She'll give birth in 3 days, not 5. Taiho's stomach dropped, but the supply ship doesn't leave for 5 days. Exactly, Jai Young said. And that's not all. She showed him a message on her screen. The Emperor is coming to inspect the maintenance sections tomorrow. The first inspection in years. What? Why now? Taiho felt cold with fear. I don't know, Jai Young said, but it can't be a coincidence. Someone might have seen you going through the old tunnels. Tai-ho paced the small office. We need a new plan. We can't wait for the supply ship now. Jae-young thought for a moment. There's a smaller ship in Dock Bay 3. It belongs to Sung-min, your supervisor. It's used for short repair trips outside the main ship. But how do we get access to it? Tai-ho asked. I don't know yet, Jae-young admitted. But it's our only option now. The next morning, Tai-ho went to work as usual, but his heart raced. The Emperor's guards were everywhere, checking every corner of the maintenance section. He tried to look busy and not worried. Tai-ho, a voice called. It was Sung-min, his supervisor. The Emperor's men want to check your work area. Tai-ho led them to his regular spot, away from where he had been building the pod. The guards looked around but seemed bored. They soon left to check another area. Thank you, Tai-ho said to Sung-min. I'll get back to work now. Wait, Sung-min said. Is something wrong? You seem nervous lately. No, sir, Tai-ho said quickly. Just tired. Sung-min didn't look convinced. Be careful, Tai-ho. The Emperor doesn't like secrets. As soon as work ended, Tai-ho raced to check on Nari. When he arrived at her cell, he found her breathing fast, her sides heaving. Nari, what's wrong? He asked, worried. She touched his hand, sending feelings of pain and urgency. Images of tiny kittens flashed in his mind. The babies, Tai-ho gasped. They're coming now. Nari nodded, her golden eyes wide with fear. Tai-ho quickly called Jae-young. The babies are coming early. We need to move now. I'll be there in 10 minutes, Jae-young promised. Get everything ready. Tai-ho looked at Nari, who was curled in pain on her mat. Change of plans, he told her. We're leaving tonight. He hurried back to get the pod, which wasn't fully finished. As he worked to complete it, his tablet beeped again. The message made his blood freeze. ALERT to all STAFF. Secure your securities. Escaped prisoner reported. Full ship search beginning. They hadn't escaped yet, but somehow the alarm had been raised. Tai-ho grabbed the pod and ran back toward Nari's cell. In the tunnel, he nearly crashed into Jae-young. Did you see the alert? He asked. Yes, she said, out of breath. Someone knows about Nari. We have to go now, ready or not. But how? Tai-ho asked. The whole ship is on alert. Jae-young held up a small card. I got this from the medical supplies room. It's a key to Sung-min's ship. Tai-ho stared at her. You stole it. Borrowed it, Jae-young corrected with a small smile. Let's get Nari and go before it's too late. Tai-ho and Jae-young rushed back to Nari's cell. The alien cat was curled up in pain, making soft crying sounds. We need to move her now, Jae-young said, opening her medical bag. I can give her something for the pain, but we don't have much time. Tai-ho nodded and began to set up the pod. It's not perfect, but it should work. Just then, his work tablet beeped again. It was a message from Sung-min. Tai-ho, come to repair Bay 4 right now. Important. I can't go, Tai-ho told Jae-young. We need to get Nari out of here. Maybe he knows something about the alert, Jae-young said. You should go. I'll stay with Nari and get her ready. Tai-ho didn't want to leave, but Jae-young was right. He needed to find out what Sung-min wanted. I'll be quick, he promised and hurried away. When Tai-ho reached Repair Bay 4, it was empty except for Sung-min, who stood with his back to the door. Sir, Tai-ho called. You wanted to see me. Sung-min turned slowly. Tai-ho, I've watched you these past few days. Sneaking around, working late, looking worried. He stepped closer. I know what you're doing. Tai-ho's heart pounded. I don't know what you mean. Don't lie, Sung-min said, but his voice wasn't angry. I know about the mirror key. Tai-ho froze. He couldn't deny it now. How did you find out? He asked. The security cameras in the old tunnel still work, even if no one checks them much. Sungmin said, I saw you entering a section that's supposed to be empty. Taiho's mind raced. Could he run? Was Sungmin going to call the guards? But then Sungmin did something surprising. He pulled out a small card and handed it to Taiho. This will open the doors to the small ship dock. Take my personal ship. It's faster than the supply ship. Taiho stared at him in shock. You're helping us. Sungmin's face turned sad. The Emperor took someone from me too, many years ago. My wife was a healer who spoke against him. She disappeared. He looked away. I was too afraid to help her then. I won't make that mistake again. Taiho felt a rush of hope. Thank you. We'll return your ship somehow. Don't worry about that, Sungmin said. Just go quickly. Take the back path through Section 12. It's less guarded. Taiho put the card in his pocket and turned to leave. Then he heard a noise that made his blood turn cold, the heavy boots of Imperial guards. In here, a voice shouted, the human is in here. The doors burst open, and 4 guards rushed in, weapons raised. Behind them stood Captain Hoon, the head of the Emperor's security. Arrest him, the captain ordered, pointing at Taiho. Taiho looked at Sungmin in confusion. His supervisor's face had changed, now wearing a small smile. You set me up, Taiho whispered. Sungmin shrugged. The Emperor rewards those who are loyal. I'll be promoted for catching you. The guards moved toward Taiho. He looked around desperately for a way out. There was a small vent in the ceiling, but he couldn't reach it. Then he noticed something on the wall, a red alarm button for fires. Without thinking, he lunged for it and slammed his hand down. Immediately, sirens blared throughout the section. Water sprayed from the ceiling, and emergency lights flashed. In the confusion, Taiho pushed past a guard and ran for the door. Stop him, Sungmin shouted, but Taiho was already racing down the corridor. Alarms rang through the entire ship now. Crew members ran in all directions, trying to find out what was happening. Taiho used the chaos to hide, ducking down side passages whenever he saw guards. His mind raced as he made his way back to Nari's cell. The plan was ruined. Sungmin had betrayed them. The guards knew about Nari now. When he finally reached the hidden tunnel, he was out of breath and covered in sweat. Jae-young looked up in alarm when he crawled through. What happened? She asked. Sungmin betrayed us, Taiho panted. He told the guards everything. The whole ship is looking for us now. Jae-young's face paled. Then we need a new plan. Beside her, Nari made a low sound of pain. The first baby was coming soon. We're out of time, Taiho said. And out of options. Nari let out a pained cry that echoed in the small cell. Jae-young knelt beside her, checking her condition with the medical scanner. The first baby is coming now, Jae-young said, her voice calm but her eyes worried. We can't move her like this. Taiho paced the small space. Alarms still rang throughout the ship, and he could hear guards shouting in the distance. We're trapped, he said. The guards will find us soon. Then we need to focus on what we can do right now, Jae-young replied. And right now, Nari needs our help to deliver her babies. Taiho took a deep breath and nodded. He sat beside Nari and let her grip his hand. Her golden eyes were filled with pain, but also trust. It's okay, he told her. We're here with you. Jae-young set up a small light and opened her medical bag. I've never delivered alien babies before, but the basics should be the same. Taiho, I need you to hold this light. Keep it steady. For the next hour, they worked together as Nari labored. The alien cat made strange singing sounds when the pain got bad, but she stayed strong. Finally, with one last push, the first tiny kitten arrived. It's a girl, Jae-young said, cleaning the small bundle of wet fur. The baby was smaller than Taiho's hand, with fur that shimmered between blue and silver. Nari purred weakly as Jae-young placed the kitten near her face. The mother cat licked her baby clean and the little one let out a small mewing sound. "She's beautiful," Taiho whispered. Before they could celebrate more, Neri tensed again. The second baby was coming. This one came faster, and soon Jai Young was holding another kitten. "A boy this time," she said, handing this one to Taiho to hold, while she helped Nari with the third birth. Taiho looked down at the tiny life in his hands. The kitten's eyes were still closed, but he had tiny paws that reached out, looking for his mother. His fur was darker than his sister's, almost navy blue. "Hello, little one," Taiho said softly. The kitten responded to his voice with a small purr. The third baby came with more difficulty. Nari seemed tired, and Ji Young looked worried. "Come on, Nari," she encouraged. "One more push." With a final effort, Nari delivered the last kitten. This one was the smallest of all, with light gray fur that had spots like stars. "Another girl," Jai Young said, cleaning the tiny baby. "She's small but strong." As Taiho placed the kittens next to their mother, his tablet beeped with an urgent message. It was from the ship's announcement system. "All sections prepare for hyperjump in 30 minutes. The Emperor has ordered immediate return to the home planet." Taiho and Ji Young looked at each other in horror. "If the ship jumps to hyperspace, all the small ships will be locked down," Jai Young said. "We'll have no way to escape." Just then, they heard a new sound. Heavy boots in the maintenance tunnel. The guards were getting closer. "They're coming," Taiho whispered. Nari made a soft sound and touched Taiho's hand. Images flashed in his mind. The Emperor's face, a large communication room, and many screens showing other planets. "The broadcast room," Taiho said, understanding Nari's message. "We could tell everyone what the Emperor did." "But how do we get there?" Jai Young asked. "It's in the central part of the ship, heavily guarded." Taiho looked around the cell and noticed something he hadn't seen before. A small maintenance panel near the floor. All the ship's systems connected through these panels. "I have an idea," he said, moving quickly to the panel and opening it. Inside were wires and small tubes that ran throughout the ship. These older parts of the ship used the same system as the newer ones. "We can follow this to the central sections." Jai Young carefully picked up the 3 kittens and wrapped them in a soft cloth from her medical bag. "Nari is too weak to crawl through tunnels." Nari made a determined sound and pushed herself up. She wobbled on her feet but stood. "Are you sure?" Taiho asked her. Nari nodded, her golden eyes fierce with mother's courage. "Then let's go," Taiho said, opening the panel wider. "We have one chance left." As they prepared to enter the small tunnel, they heard a voice from outside the cell. "In here. I found them." It was time for the final escape. "Quick. Through here." Taiho pulled the maintenance panel open wider. Jai Young carefully passed the bundle of kittens to him, then helped Nari into the small tunnel. The sound of guards breaking down the cell door echoed behind them. The tunnel was tight and dark. Taiho led the way, holding the tiny kittens close to his chest. Nari followed, moving slowly but steadily. Jai Young came last, closing the panel behind them just as the guards burst into the cell. "Where did they go?" They heard a guard shout. "Keep moving," Taiho whispered. "Stay quiet." They crawled through the narrow space for what seemed like hours. The ship was huge, and the maintenance tunnels twisted in confusing ways. Twice they had to hide when workers passed by other sections of the tunnel. "Are we going the right way?" Jai Young asked softly. Taiho checked his mental map of the ship. "I think so. The broadcast room should be just ahead." Nari made a small sound of pain. She was still weak from giving birth, but her eyes showed fierce determination. When they stopped to rest, she touched Taiho's arm, sending him feelings of hope and strength. Finally, they reached a panel that Taiho believed would open into a storage room near the broadcast center. He listened carefully, then slowly pushed it open. They were lucky. The room was empty, filled with boxes of equipment, but no people. They climbed out and helped Nari, who was breathing hard from the effort. "We made it this far," Jia said, checking on the kittens. All three were sleeping peacefully in their cloth bundle. "But how do we get into the broadcast room? It will be guarded." Tai-Ho looked around the storage room and spotted uniforms hanging on hooks. "We can disguise ourselves," he said, grabbing 2 sets of crew uniforms. "Zhu, you carry Neri in this equipment bag. I'll take the kittens." Soon they were dressed as ship crew, with Neri hidden in a large bag and the kittens tucked inside Tai-Ho's jacket. They stepped into the hallway, trying to look normal despite their racing hearts. The broadcast room was just down the hall, its doors guarded by 2 Imperial soldiers. Tai-Ho took a deep breath and walked straight toward them, Ji-young following close behind. "Stop," said one guard. "What's your business here?" "Emergency equipment repair," Tai-Ho said, showing his real mechanic's badge. "The hyperjump announcement system is having problems." The guard looked suspicious. "We weren't told about any repairs." "It's a direct order," Ji-young added. "The Emperor wants to make sure his announcement is heard on all decks." At the mention of the Emperor, the guard stepped aside. "Make it quick," one said. Inside the broadcast room, 3 technicians worked at control panels. They looked up in surprise when Tai-Ho and Ji-young entered. "What are you doing here?" one asked. Before anyone could answer, the bag Ji-young carried suddenly moved. Neri had pushed her way out, and now stood on the floor, her golden eyes glowing with anger and power. The technicians stared in shock. "A Miraki. On this ship." Tai-Ho moved quickly to the main control panel. "This ship is making an emergency broadcast to all stations," he said, using his mechanic's tools to override the security locks. "You can't do that," a technician shouted, reaching for an alarm button. Neri made a strange sound, almost like singing. A wave of energy filled the room, and the technicians froze in place. Through her touch, Neri was showing them the truth, her years of imprisonment, the Emperor's cruelty, and the birth of her kittens in a prison cell. The technicians' faces changed from anger to horror as they understood. "The Emperor did this," one whispered. "Yes," Tai-Ho said, still working on the controls. "And now everyone will know." Just as the broadcast system came online, the doors burst open. Imperial guards rushed in, weapons raised. Behind them walked Emperor Kuro himself, his purple face twisted with rage. "Stop them," he shouted. But it was too late. Tai-Ho had activated the system, every screen on the ship, and on stations throughout the galaxy, now showed Neri and her kittens. Ji-young stepped forward and spoke clearly into the microphone. "This is a Miraki mother and her newborn babies. She has been imprisoned by Emperor Kuro for years. We have proof of his crimes against a protected species." The Emperor lunged forward, but suddenly stopped. A look of fear crossed his face as reports began coming in on the communication system. Ships were approaching. Ships from the Galactic Council. "You are too late, Emperor," Tai-Ho said. "Justice is coming." Emperor Kuro's face turned dark with rage. "Arrest them," he shouted to his guards. "Kill the alien creature and her offspring." The guards stepped forward, but stopped when Neri made a strange sound. It wasn't loud, but it filled the room like water filling a cup. The guards looked at each other, confused. Something was happening to them. Neri's golden eyes glowed bright as she created an empathic field. Everyone in the room could suddenly feel what she had felt. Years of loneliness, fear, and pain. They saw through her eyes as Emperor Kuro had laughed while locking her away. One by one, the guards lowered their weapons. "What are you doing?" Emperor Kuro screamed. "I order you to kill them." The head guard removed his helmet. His face was wet with tears. "No, sir. What you did to this creature was wrong." "Traitor." The Emperor pulled out his own weapon, pointing it at Neri. "I'll do it myself." Tai-Ho jumped in front of Neri and her kittens. "You'll have to go through me first." Before the Emperor could fire, the room shook as a loud sound echoed through the ship. The communication panel lit up with messages. Imperial vessel, this is Captain Da Yun of the Galactic Council. You are surrounded. Lower your shields and prepare to be boarded. The Emperor's face went pale. He looked around wildly, like a trapped animal. No one comes in. Raise all shields. Prepare for hyperjump now. The technicians didn't move. They stood with the guards, watching the Emperor with cold eyes. It's over, Taeho said quietly. The ship shook again as the docking bay doors were forced open. The sound of many footsteps filled the hallways. The broadcast room doors slid open, and a group of aliens entered. They wore the blue uniforms of the Galactic Council. Leading them was a tall, elegant Miraki, with silver-white fur and golden eyes like Nari's. When this new Miraki saw Nari and the kittens, she froze. Her eyes widened, and she made a singing sound that filled the room with joy and sadness mixed together. Nari responded with a similar sound. The two Miraki touched noses, and tears fell from their golden eyes. The silver Miraki turned to the council officers. It is as we feared. This is Princess Nari, who disappeared 5 years ago during peace talks with the Veridan Empire. Princess, Taeho whispered, looking at Nari in shock. The silver Miraki nodded. She is royal blood of our people. I am Elder Da-Yun, her aunt. She looked at the Emperor with cold eyes. We thought she had been killed. Instead, you imprisoned her because she refused your advances. Emperor Kuro backed away. You can't prove anything. It's my word against a dumb animals. She is not an animal, Da-Yun said. Miraki can share memories directly. The entire council will see what you did. Council officers surrounded the Emperor, placing restraints on his hands. Emperor Kuro, you are under arrest for crimes against a protected species, royal kidnapping, and violation of peace treaties, announced the head officer. As they led him away, Kuro looked back at Taeho with hate-filled eyes. This isn't over, human. Taeho knelt beside Nari. You never told me you were a princess. Nari touched his hand gently, sending feelings of gratitude mixed with amusement. In his mind, Taeho saw an image of himself, a simple mechanic, trying to help what he thought was just a trapped alien cat. Nari hadn't wanted to burden him with her true identity. It wouldn't have mattered, Taeho said, smiling. I still would have helped you. Da-Yun approached them. The council wishes to thank you, human. You risked your life for one of our most beloved royals. I just did what was right, Taeho said. You did more than that, Da-Yun replied. You saved not only Nari, but her children, who are the future of our royal line. The kittens, now awake, made tiny mewing sounds. Nari gently licked their heads, then nudged the smallest one toward Taeho. The kitten touched his hand with her tiny paw, sending a feeling of pure love. She likes you, Ja-Young said, smiling. Da-Yun nodded. It seems you have made a bond with the royal family that will not be easily broken. As council members secured the ship and treated Nari's needs, Taeho looked around in wonder. His life as a simple mechanic had changed forever. 6 months had passed since the rescue of Princess Nari. The galaxy had changed in many ways. Emperor Kuro was now prisoner in a Galactic Council holding cell, awaiting trial for his crimes. His empire had been placed under council control, with new leaders being chosen by the people. Taeho stood on a balcony overlooking the beautiful city of Miraluna, the capital of the Miraki homeworld. The building shone with a soft blue light, and trees with silver leaves lined the wide streets. It was nothing like the dark, cramped spaces of the Imperial ship where he had worked for so many years. Still getting used to the view? Ja-Young asked, joining him on the balcony. She wore the white coat of a medical officer, but now it had the Miraki royal symbol on the sleeve. I don't think I'll ever get used to it, Taeho admitted. Sometimes I wake up thinking I'm still in my small room on the ship, with repair jobs waiting. Ja-Young smiled. Instead, you're the head engineer of a royal diplomatic vessel, honored by the whole planet. After the rescue, both humans had been invited to stay on the Miraki homeworld. Young now worked in the Royal Medical Center, sharing human healing methods with Miraki healers. Taiho led a team that built and repaired ships for peaceful missions between worlds. "It's time for the ceremony," Young reminded him. "Are you ready?" Taiho nodded, straightening his new formal clothes. They were blue and silver, the colors of the royal house. "As ready as I'll ever be." They walked together through the palace halls. Miraki of all ages stopped to bow their heads as Taiho passed. It still felt strange to him, being treated with such respect. The Great Hall was filled with important people from many planets. Taiho saw council members, ambassadors, and royal visitors. At the front of the hall, on a raised platform, sat Princess Neri. She looked very different now. Her fur was thick and shiny, with patterns like stars showing clearly against the blue-gray background. She wore a simple silver band around her neck, the mark of Miraki royalty. Beside her, playing on soft cushions, were her 3 kittens, now much bigger and more active. Dayan, the elder who had led the rescue, stood next to Neri. She raised her paw for silence, and the room grew quiet. "Today we honor the courage of those who saved our beloved princess and her children," Dayan announced. "Their actions have brought new peace between worlds and shown that kindness crosses all boundaries." Taiho walked forward when his name was called. He knelt before Princess Neri, who touched his head with her paw. Warm feelings of gratitude and affection flowed into him. "Taiho of Earth," Dayan said, "you are granted full citizenship of Miraluna and named friend of the royal house forever." Taiho accepted the silver pin they gave him, his hands shaking slightly. He had never expected such honor for simply doing what was right. As he stood, the smallest of the 3 kittens broke away from her siblings and ran to him. She had light gray fur with spots like stars, just like when she was born. Without hesitation, Taiho picked her up. She purred and touched his face with her tiny paw. "Luna has chosen you," Neri said, speaking aloud for the first time in Taiho's presence. Her voice was musical and clear. "She wishes you to be her guardian." "Guardian?" Taiho asked, surprised. Dayan explained, "In our culture, royal children have both their mother and a chosen guardian who helps raise them. It is a position of great honor, usually given to the wisest among us." She smiled. "Luna has chosen you. Her empathic sense is very strong, even at this young age." Taiho looked at the kitten in his arms, who purred happily. "I would be honored," he said. Later, as the celebration continued around them, Taiho sat in a quiet corner with Luna sleeping on his lap. Young joined him, bringing drinks. "So, guardian to a royal Miraki," she said, smiling. "Quite a change from fixing air vents on an imperial ship." Taiho nodded. "If someone had told me a year ago that a simple repair job would lead to all this, I would have thought they were crazy." "Life takes strange turns," Young agreed. Outside the windows, the twin moons of the Miraki world rose in the purple sky. Taiho watched them climb higher, thinking about the strange path that had brought him here. From a lonely mechanic to the guardian of a princess, from an imperial ship to a peaceful world. Luna stirred in her sleep, sending him dreams of stars and new adventures. Whatever came next, they would face it together.